back down the allotment today. I'm not down Bobber's Mill, I'm down somewhere with a slightly larger plot. Andy, what a surprise! An allotment, it's actually got some formality to it.
Well, I keep the place neat and tidy. It's hard work at times, but I do have a bit of help usually on a Wednesday. But the lad that helps me is indisposed at the at the moment. Like.
Right.
But the gardens that I've got would not look in the state they do if it wasn't for his help. He's been a godsend this last 18 months, 2 years, because I'm approaching 70 myself.
Right.
So consequently, it gets a little bit more difficult, each year. But with his help, I managed to keep on top of the things, Richard.
You say gardens, so I detect there's more than this one.
Well, there's supposedly about 680 on this site.
Blimey.
A lot of them are completely derelict and overgrown, and they've been allowed to go back to what's called wildlife areas. But there's still probably several hundred that's in reasonable condition, cultivatable condition. And obviously you can see this is one of them.
And just remind us where we are exactly.
Well, these are Hill Gardens, and it's in the St.Ann's, probably 1.25 miles from the city centre. There's 3 sets of interconnected gardens up here. The largest is Hills, then to the north of there's Stone Pit Coppice, and then slightly detached by about 20 yards from the others, over Sycamore Park, there's Gorsey Close Gardens, which are behind the almshouses,
right,
on Woodbury Road. In total, I think there's about 75 acres.
Are they all interconnected then?
Obviously, Stone Pit, Coppice and Hills certainly are.
Right.
But Gorsey Close is detached by about 20 yards now.
Okay.
But there was, I'm not quite sure of the year when Sycamore Park was extended, that went between the 2 sets of gardens. I'm not sure what year that was.
Are they the sort of biggest plot in the country then? Or I know there's some sort of
certainly
statement about that sort of thing.
Yeah, certainly they're the biggest in the country. Possibly the largest in Europe.
Yeah.
Whether it's the largest in the world, I don't know. But 75 acres in one site. Yeah. It's a biggish place.
Yeah. A few pub gardens, that isn't it?
Beg your pardon?
A few pub gardens.
Oh, absolutely.
75 acres.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. And on the other side. On the other side of Coppice, Ransom Road, used to be called Coppice Road.
Right.
There was another set of gardens up there till the early 1970s called Brewster's Gardens, Brewster's Road.
Oh,
Gardens.
Yeah, I know Brewster's Road.
They were taken over and they were built on.
Built on, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So you've got Brewster's Road estate on that side.
Yeah.
But if you walk down Ransom Road, you can still see the names of the gardens on there, like I think it's called Brewster's Close, or something like that.
Yeah, so there's a bit of a sort of memory.
That's
link.
right. Yeah. Well, I've got a few old photographs of the gardens in my collection of photographs, and one of them's taken in the late 1960s, looking down from where the Ransom Road gate is now. Looking down, you can still see the wall. On the left-hand side of the road as you're going downhill. Okay, shall we have a walk around then? By all means, Richard. Yes, certainly.
We've got it. It's like a living grocer's shop, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, as you can see here, I mean, apart from the weeds which are coming out today, you can see beetroots. And I've got 3 different sorts. There's onions in, lettuce, more onions the far side, and then this side here, you've got more onions and beans. A little bit of rhubarb which will be coming out this next year, and then there's another main growing area up that end. What I really like growing, the tomatoes.
Yeah.
That's one of the tomato houses.
Right. Right, you've got a few different varieties in here then.
There's going to be there's 3 different varieties in here. they're all either heritage or exotic varieties.
Yeah.
And I do buy most of the seed from a couple of firms in America.
Right.
And it's over the years it's paid off. I've had some pretty nice tomatoes, but I do try to vary them each year, apart from the possibly one variety which will grow as my main
What's that, Alicante or Moneymaker?
Oh no, nothing as common as
that. No,
nothing as common as that. This is a variety called Blue Beauty.
Okay.
I've got one this side called Amish Paste.
Yeah.
And then the ones behind you, the 5 in that corner, are Black Crim. Yeah, it's a Russian variety.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually a black tomato.
It's actually a very dark red, but the actual flesh itself will be red, but the skin will be a darker colour. Yeah, and the skin on these, the Blue Beauties, are exactly what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
They're actually a blue tomato, but they're again red on the inside.
What do you reckon about the sort of controversial theory of picking out the suckers? Because some people say you need to pick them out. Other people say if you've got a sort of a low-growing bush variety, you're going to actually get crop off those, off the stems.
That's right. Well, what I do, I try to grow all mine as cordons. So these are what's called indeterminate varieties. Your determinate ones are the short bush ones.
Yeah.
Even though that they'll still require a bit of support.
Yeah.
These require support all the way up.
Yeah.
But as you can see, like with this one here, what I've done this year is allowed one side shoot to develop.
Yeah.
So I've actually got a double stemmed plant, but all the other side shoots have been taken out.
I saw something interesting on the good old YouTube where I learn a lot of my knowledge. In Japan, they're actually planting tomatoes upside down. So what they've got the normal bucket or your what's it called? Container. Yeah, plant pot. Underneath where the drain holes are, they make them a little bit bigger, or they put holes at the bottom, fill it with soil, and then let them grow down.
I've not heard of that at all, Richard.
I know it sounds ridiculous, but I should put a clip in now.
Would you grow tomatoes upside down? With just a regular plastic bucket, you can turn it into an efficient planting system. This method is known as upside down planting. First, cut a round hole in the bottom of the bucket, about 2 to 3 inches in diameter. Then, pass the tomato seedling through the hole from the bottom, keeping the roots inside the bucket while the stem and leaves hang downward naturally. After securing the plant, fill the bucket with loose, well-aerated potting soil from the top. This helps the roots develop properly. Once filled, hang the bucket upside down on a sturdy support, and the planter is ready. Water and fertilizer are applied from the top, allowing moisture to move downward and be absorbed directly by the roots. This growing method saves space, making it ideal for balconies or small yards. The fruit grows suspended in the air, improving airflow and reducing rot and disease. At the same time, the leaves don't touch the ground, which helps limit pest problems. With this simple setup, you can maximize space while improving fruit quality, making it a practical and efficient method for home gardening.
That is something I've not heard of.
No.
This system that I've got here, it's worked pretty well for me over the years.
Yeah.
What I do is everything is watted into the bottom there.
Yeah.
But when I put the liquid feed in, then that goes in the top.
Yeah.
Liquid feed twice every 3 weeks, something like that. So once every 4 or 5 days, and then the rest of the time it goes in the troughs at the bottom, and then they can just take up as and what they want.
Because they don't really like drying out, do they?
They don't, but there's other varieties that don't like overwatering either.
No.
But I've always been pretty successful with with tomatoes, and whatever I can, I shall keep growing them. You know? I enjoy growing tomatoes. People seem to like them. And I give a lot away.
Well, you could do so much with them. You can eat them raw, have them in a salad,
absolutely,
have them on toast, use them as a base for a curry.
Well, I'm a meat and two veg man myself, Richard.
Mix them up and drink it with a bit of vodka in it.
Absolutely, yes, yeah. small herb garden there, and then as you can see, I've got an apple tree, and then there's various veg along this way.
So what was this plot like when you first sort of took it over or inherited it?
I took it over in 2000, and my first growing season was 2013, and the entire lot was a complete mess. Chris, the site foreman, he trimmed it all down for me, but basically the first year I was here, the only area that was relatively clear what I could grow on was this raised bed area here, and that was covered in mare's tail, which is one of the worst weeds that you could possibly imagine. This is the main runner bean patch. As you can see, I've got about 6 plants to put in there, which I'd run short of because the plants hadn't developed as well as the others, because they're all started off in pots, but they'll probably be going in later today, so I shall have a full gamut of plants there. Right.
Here's a question for you. Do you rotate your sort of crop every year?
Everything's rotated, so I don't grow the same thing on the same area for 2 years on the trot.
And why is that?
It helps cut down on the amount of disease. Let's say the next year that I'm growing potatoes, which will be in this area here, it'll get a good manure in this this winter, and then the year after it'll be used for beets and I suppose different onions, that sort of thing.
Different plants and fruits need different types of nourishment from the soil, don't they?
The thing is, Richard, I've never had any formal training or formal qualification in gardening.
No.
When I left school in the early 1970s, I went to work on a farm, and basically all I've done with this is use my farming knowledge and scaled it down, and it's worked for me pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not something that I ever thought of doing, because I do work part-time in a garden centre.
Yeah.
And I changed my career fully 8 years ago, and I don't regret it. I just wish that I'd have had the balls years ago to have walked out of the meat trade and done something like this, because I was never ever, even though I worked as a butcher for 42 years, I was never fully happy in the job.
No.
I'd much sooner work outside.
Well, going by what you've producing here, your knowledge is bearing fruit.
Well, when I got made redundant in the early 2010s, I said to the missus, what I'll do is try to get back into farming for the last few years of my working life. Anyway, I rang the guy up who I used to work for. Well, it was the son of the guy I used to work for, and he said to me straight, he says, Andy, he says, forget it. He says, you wouldn't cope with it. He says, everything now is controlled by computers. Your tractors are controlled by computers.
Yeah.
He said, the implements on the tractor, they've got a separate computer. He said, milking parlours, they're controlled by computers, and it took me about 5 seconds to realise that he was completely right, and I would not cope with that sort of thing, because I cannot abide modern technology.
No. Well, it's not that. I mean, if you've sort of experienced in being hands-on, suddenly you're in an environment where you can't be hands-on, there's going to be no enjoyment, is there? It's not going to be any
I wouldn't say it was sudden,
satisfaction out of it.
I wouldn't say it was suddenly, because the last time I worked full-time on a farm was 1976, and in that time, in the ensuing years, I've never really had any direct contact with farming, and it's just changed out of all recognition, and working these 2 gardens here, I'll show you the other side of the road in a few minutes, working these 2 gardens here and running the cider orchard, it's probably the closest thing I'm ever going to get back to farming.
You mentioned 1976, it reminds me of 1976 today. Last few days of weather. I remember when we had the heat wave and there was a massive ladybird influx, just like today, towards the end of May.
I do remember the summer of 76, because it was the year that I got the sack from one of the farms, the last farm I worked on.
Right.
Apparently it was because I got a bad attitude, which I probably still have got a bit of now.
I thought you was going to say you was eating too many strawberries.
I'll tell you something else a minute off camera. But I did a bit of work for my uncle that year, who was a coal merchant, and we took a retired pit pony down to a farm in Devon, because at that time he was winding his coal business down and
Yeah.
taking a few transport jobs on. And I remember coming on the way back, with it being such a hot summer, counting 50 loads of hay and other cattle fodder being taken down to the West Country just to supplement the diet, because all the grass was dead.
Blimey.
So,
Yeah.
you know, we've not had a summer that hot since.
No.
Fortunately, up here on the gardens, we've got our own borehole, so we're not really reliant on the, you know, the mains water supply.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, I'll show you that in a few
Yeah.
minutes, because that's at top of the, you know, top of the
Yeah,
hill.
we've got the reservoir at the top. Well, we used to have on Woodbury Road. I don't know if that's. I know the plot's still there. I don't know if it's still
that's
a
still there,
reservoir.
because I've been up that way this morning.
Right.
I've been up that way this morning,
Right.
and the water from there is pumped up from Papplewick, and it's pumped up from one or two other places
Yeah.
in the North Notts area, and then runs down from St. Ann's Hill under gravity and feeds feeds the town.
Yeah. Right. Shall we
Yep, certainly.
plod
Richard.
on?
I'll show you this tree here.
So basically, what you're trying to say, Andy, you've got a tight fetish.
I have, yes, yeah. I call this Janice's tree, because I work with this lovely lady at work, Janice Walker, and I did say to her one day, I says, Janice, you know, I said, I've just fancy a bit of cross dressing. Can you let me have a few pair of your tights? So she says, you've done an apple tree again, ain't you, Andy? So I says, yeah.
I'm gonna have to get into this gardening lot, you know.
So what you basically do when this is the only tree. This is the only tree that I've kept that I inherited when I took the plot over.
Yeah.
It's a Bramley apple tree.
Right.
But as you can see down here, it had grown, you know, completely out of order, and there was a lot of low branches on it. We can see the scars down there,
Right.
where it was touching the floor. So they was all taken off, but it put a lot of long straight water shoots up.
Right. Okay.
Which I couldn't really control, so it was suggested to me that what I do is take it off, and then 8 or 10 of the best shoots, bend them over, tie a pair of tights onto each one, and then just weight it down and keep weighting it down until these go solid. Now, I did that a few years ago, but the thing was, I'd made the mistake of leaving the main trunk too high.
Right. Okay.
So consequently, I'd still got to bloody reach, get right to the top. So I've done the same again 2 years ago, and this is the second season that this is actually growing like.
Yeah, I've seen a similar thing before with the plastic 2-pint milk bottles, but not with Denny of 14 or whatever they are.
Well, these, as I say, what I do, if I need to weigh it down a bit more, I can either move it towards the end of the branch, or if need be, just add a few more stones in it. But as soon as these go solid, then the tights can the tights
you're
can
sort
come
of training
off.
the
Absolutely,
really, aren't you?
And in the end, you're going to end up with a weeping apple tree. A lot easier to maintain. And if you look here, I mean, you've got the makings here of your new fruit buds. So hopefully there should be some a little bit of fruit off here for next year. Yeah,
quite interesting. Interesting concept.
I've made, as you can perhaps imagine, over the last 13-14 years that I've been up here, I've made a lot of mistakes, and I've learnt from the mistakes, and I still make a few, but my advice to anybody who's starting a garden up, start with a completely blank canvas. You can build it up as you want, and any varieties of fruit that you're growing, whether it be apples, pears, plums or whatever, research the variety. Make sure it's suitable for the area. Make sure that it's suitable for the country even, because I mean, you do see a lot of varieties of apples that's on sale in garden centres that's not even suitable for growing in Britain, not even in the south. I mean,
and if you was in a near sort of sheltered area, say near a hill or a mountain, you do get microclimates, don't you?
Oh yeah.
So well, the research.
You've got a microclimate here. I mean, as you can see, if you come round this way. Just watch yourself on that. if you look up there, I mean, you're not going to see a great lot, but it's like a small valley going up that way.
Right.
So this, towards the bottom end of the valley, is a frost pocket.
Right.
So you've got to be a bit careful with late frosts. Up at the cider orchard, with that being on top of the hill, it's more exposed, but it's not a frost pocket.
No.
So they don't tend to get any problems like that up here. But down this way, a couple of times I've had the frost take the tops of the potatoes off. It's buggered the blossom up on the trees a couple of times. You know, I'm not saying completely ruined the crop, but certainly made it a lot lighter than it you know, should actually be.
Yeah.
I've got a collection of fairly rare roses down here. They should all be labelled as to what varieties they are, and then I've got a couple of hydrangeas as well, but in general, apart from the roses and the hydrangeas which I inherited off my parents, then basically if you can't eat it, I don't grow it.
No. Where did the interest in the heritage varieties come from then? Or why?
Well, I decided to grow heritage varieties basically because of the history of the site.
Okay.
And I mean, there again, I mean, you go to a supermarket and you've probably got 2 or 3 different varieties of potatoes what you can try. You've probably got no more than half a dozen varieties of apples. I can guarantee to anyone that the potatoes or the apples or the fruit that I grow on the gardens that I've got, you cannot buy it in a supermarket.
No.
They're all either historic or heirloom varieties.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just finding an interest and something that you know you can actually get rid of.
And of course you're keeping it going, aren't you?
Precisely,
along with other people that are into similar.
Yeah, precisely. There's a row of roses here.
Yep.
Most of the 4 in the 2 at each end, they're Portland roses. This one's Rose Direct, and that is Comte de Chambord. And then the small one in the middle is Madame Pierre Auger.
Lovely. Is it true that obviously you can put certain plants together, because I can't think of an example, I'm not a gardener myself, or would like to be, certain plants next to other plants discourage... You
mean companion growing?
Is that what it's called?
It's called companion growing. I have heard of it. I don't really practice it myself, but you can. There's one pest called carrot fly. There's another pest called onion fly. And if you plant carrots and onions together, the flies don't like the opposite plant that they go with. So consequently, that's a virtue of companion planting, but it's not something I've ever practiced because I don't know too much about it.
I'm just asking because you've got roses next to the onions.
They were put there, Richard, because it was the only place I got to put them at the time. Because I used to have a row of roses all the way around this plot here.
Right.
But I decided to get rid of those and you just put fruit and
well, they make a nice border to the path, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
And you can see them and appreciate them.
Well, you can see as well on these boysenberry plants here. I've just noticed a bee that's on there.
Sorry, what are these called?
Boysenberries.
Oh right, what are they?
They're a hybrid berry. It's a hybrid between a blackberry, a raspberry, and a loganberry.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've heard of a place in America, in California, called Knott's Berry Farm. It's in Anaheim, just down the road from the original Disneyland. Well, the guy who started that was a guy called Walter Knott, and he was not a particularly successful berry grower in the 1920s, and he'd heard about this particular berry that had been growing somewhere in Northern California, and him and a friend of his went up there and they found this berry growing on a derelict old farm that had been originally owned by this guy called Frank Boyson, and that's how it got the name boysenberry. Knott brought them back. They're a fairly large berry. Started growing them in the Anaheim sort of area, and eventually because he was quite successful at it, he put a few amusements at because it was farm gate sales. He put a few amusements at the farm gate, and his wife did boysenberry pies and everything like that. Yeah. And there's those few amusements grow into a 75-acre amusement park. A theme park, which is a full-size theme park now. Yeah. But you can still buy knots. Knots, jams, knots, condiments, that sort of thing, all made with boysenberries. It
just goes to show that little acorns can grow into bigger things.
Walter Knott actually saw the potential in this particular berry. This is the second year I've got them. I had a few for myself last year, and they are actually very, very nice.
You mentioned selling stuff at the gates, which we can still see now on the way to Skeggy.
Not as much as you used to.
Can people buy from the allotments down here?
There's
there an allotment shop? Or?
There's not an allotment shop, no. So you can't buy direct from the allotments itself, no.
No.
That's one of the small greenhouses in there. There again, there's more tomatoes in it, and I've got a few sweet pepper plants, and there's three chilies at the front, like.
Again, you're very, very well organised.
Always try to be, Richard. All the pots are washed and sterilised each year.
Yeah.
Wash them in Jay's fluid, then they're stored in the shed through the winter. Just try to keep the better things are organised, the easier it is that the gardens actually run like.
Yeah.
Really and truthfully, I often wonder if I've taken on a little bit too much. But if you keep on top of it all the time, then it is relatively easy to run.
I mean, I've been down some allotments, and people do say it's organised chaos, but this is.
It's not chaotic. I can tell you that.
It's definitely not.
It does run easily.
Yeah.
It does run easily, but as running an orchard, like I'll show you in a few minutes, and running a garden like this, it's totally different. Orchards are relatively low maintenance.
Yeah.
This is very labour intensive, and it's a fairly high maintenance job. You've got to keep on top of it all the time. Once I'm on top of the cider orchard, then basically that's going to look after itself. It's just pruning, a little bit of summer pruning, main pruning in the autumn and winter, and then just cutting the grass as and when that's grown.
This is where you shelter when we occasionally get rain, because of course we never get much rain in this country, do we?
I've got this is me potting shed. So I keep all the gardening tools this side, and then the other side of the road, that's where I've got my workshop, where I can make and repair tools, and any raised beds need making. I can do that across there, like. I'm fortunate to have had a lot of tools given me. Virtually all the tools that I've got are British made. There again, if anyone's thinking of starting a garden up or running an allotment, what I would suggest, buy the very, very best tools you possibly can, because they do last, and it will pay them in the long run. Give you an example. I mean, I bought had to buy a new grass rake a few months ago, and I paid £35 for one. It's a Bulldog made up in Preston, where you can go to garden centres and buy one for £6, and they don't last 5 minutes.
No.
So do buy British if you can.
Yeah.
Always buy British. That's one of the tools that I've got. One of the old Braids spades, made on the Braids estate in the Black Country.
Oh right, okay.
I've reshafted and riveted that myself.
Yeah.
But I mean, you feel that.
Blimey,
that's well made.
That is metal, isn't it?
A good British tool.
Yeah.
A good quality British tool always rings like a bell when you hit it. I'll show you one of the others. That just clatters.
Blimey, oh right, okay. I never knew that. Every day is a school day, as they say.
Well, you're going to get better than that. John Bedford, Sheffield.
Well, yeah, well, Sheffield is... it's always been known for steel, hasn't it? Let's have a...
Proper shovel.
Yeah, yeah, it is proper shovel, yeah.
You can hear that ringing.
Yeah. Spade with the ring.
That's the idea. Yeah, when I took this on in 2013, I'd only been on the waiting list for about 9 months before I was offered this particular site, and I jumped at the chance. Anyway, a few days later, after I got the keys and everything, I had a walk round the site, and you would think that you're right out in the middle of the countryside, and then at the top of the hill you're round one of the bends and you'll see the council house in front of you, or Victoria Centre Flats.
Yeah.
Look that way and you'll see st.Ann Flats, and it just brings you back to some reality as to actually where you are.
Yeah.
Because like I said a bit earlier on, you're only about 1.25 miles away from the council house as the crow flies.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a unique site.
Yeah.
I know full well that it's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
For building, and it's always at the back of your mind that might eventually be the case, but
is there some protection then, because it's classed as a sort of heritage site, and it's
well,
also on various slopes, isn't it?
Well, there is some protection. The site is actually Grade 2 listed by English Heritage.
Okay.
And then one of the buildings up here, just a few yards that way.
Yeah.
There's a actual building that's Grade 2 listed in its own right, and then there's various species of wildlife up here, which offer it probably a greater level of protection than it possibly wouldn't have otherwise.
No.
So I think they're fairly secure for the time being, but at the end of the day, it's the pound notes that talk.
It is. What's this one, Andy? This rose.
That's a rose. It's not my rose. It's my niece's. It's a David Austin rose, Darcy Bustle, and my niece, she dug it up at the wrong time of the year. She's Uncle Andy, will you try to save it for me? And I planted it straight away. It's done pretty well, and I'm just waiting for her to take it back. Yeah. But yeah, that isn't my rose.
Right.
But yeah, I've always enjoyed growing roses. The thing is, there's a lot of different types of rose, and there's a lot of different rose families.
Right.
And my basic interest is that how all these different rose families are, grow from one into another, and how they're all interrelated. It is an interesting subject. Unfortunately, there's probably 10,000 different cultivars of rose that's over the years that's actually gone extinct, but when we go across the road I'll show you one that has been saved.
And of course this area, sort of Nottingham Derby border, was quite a famous rose grower, wasn't there?
It was, and up until, as far as I know, the very early 1960s, there was actually a St. Ann's Rose Show that was held at Easter, and a lot of these rose experts couldn't fathom out how people got the roses to bloom at Easter time, but the fact was they were grown under glass.
Oh right, okay.
So and there was a lot of roses then which are that were grown up on the gardens, which are probably extinct now, but there are still several of the older roses that did appear in these shows that are actually still grown up here, and they're up on the heritage plot.
Shall I close this gate?
No, you can leave that, Richard.
Okay. Blimey, brick building on an allotment. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
They were put in possibly about 25 years ago, but I think it was done by YTS lads.
Right,
And
okay.
that's actually one of the better ones on the site. There's one or two others, especially the one at the garden at the back of us, that the foundations are a bit iffy on,
Yeah.
it, like. But that's okay.
Yeah, Andy, plot 2.
Yeah, that's right, Richard. I have this plot probably 10 years now, so not quite as long as the other one. Comes to a point at this top end on a bit of a slope as well, so I thought the best way to fill this corner in would be to put a few wild roses in, because as you can see all round we've got fairly fairly tall edges.
Yeah.
So this side here, they're all wild roses. This one's called Lord Penzance.
Okay.
And then the one here is Anne of Geerstein. And then the one at this far side with the larger blooms, I cannot for the life of me remember what it's called.
No.
It's probably still got its Latin name to
You've
it.
certainly got a passion for roses.
Love roses, always have done.
Yeah.
It's a very English sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I think you get small single blooms like that.
Yeah.
It's got a sort of a beauty to it that far exceeds what your more complicated, more elaborate roses
Yeah.
are. Just so simple. These only flower once a year, whereas most of the others that I've got would repeat flower.
Yeah.
But these are of a type called your Lord Penzance Sweetbriars.
Did you put these in then from...
These were put in as bare root plants.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. Okay.
yeah. And Lord Penzance at the just after the turn of the last century was a noted rose breeder, and he developed a type called the Sweetbriars, and after it's rained fairly heavy, even the foliage has got this gorgeous sweet appley sort of fragrance, which you can pick up from yards and yards away. But these only last for a couple of 3 weeks, and then you've got to wait a year again for it to flower again. But I mean, what are you going to get looking nicer than
Well,
that?
it's certainly a climber, isn't it?
Oh yes, yeah.
And look at
Probably
that.
going to need a bit of pruning this year.
Yeah.
This is the type of rose that doesn't really take a lot of pruning.
No.
Just keep it in order, and you just let it do its own thing.
And how often do you feed these, and what do you feed them with?
I'm going to be quite honest with you, they don't really get fed all that much.
Well, they're not doing bad, are they?
If they do get fed, which is probably only once a year, it gets the general Tomerite fertiliser, liquid fertiliser. Tomerite specifically been developed for tomatoes, but it's probably the best general all-purpose liquid fertiliser that you can lay.
I remember years ago, when I think I was early 20s, and I moved in with this woman I met on the old CB radio. Anyway, moved in with her and started to brew some beer, out of the old John Bull kits, malt extract, anyway, and wine and stuff.
Well, I've had a go at brewing some of my own beer in the past many years ago, and I've decided to leave it to the experts who knows what they're on.
Anyway, we always ended up with a bit left over, and used to chuck it on the roses. Tell you what, they liked it.
Well, you've got...
I don't know what was in, the residue.
You've got to really ill-treat a rose to kill it.
Right.
A lot of them are very, very tough indeed.
Yeah.
In fact, I've got 3 roses outside of the gate.
Yeah.
One of them's an old variety called Celsiana, which is 250 years old.
Blimey.
And that will take temperatures down to -30. And still survive. It's as tough as old bloody boots, believe you me. Yet I've got some of the earlier tea roses just on the pathway down there, and they can be a bit delicate, and they've never done particularly well where they are, because, like I said a bit earlier, we are in a frost pocket, and the frost they don't tend to do very well outside.
No.
But I mean, as I say, absolutely beautiful. A lot of wild roses, they've not been bred there as they were, originally. And they've not got a huge amount of fragrance to them. This is not one of the Sweetbriars that I was telling you about, which the other one across there is. But you can always, with your wild roses, they're always pretty healthy. They're not susceptible to a lot of disease.
No.
So you know, and I think it's just nice to keep roses like this going, and they're both fairly, you know, both fairly rare varieties as well. I'm afraid there's not much of it left, Richard, because it's a relatively early flower, which is that one.
So this is most interesting.
Yeah, I would say almost certainly the only one of its type in Nottingham, possibly even the only one of its type in the country. I had to get it from a nursery in the south of France, and it's a variety called Bardou Job or Bardou Job, whichever way you pronounce it. And it's named after a guy who founded a cigarette paper manufacturing company in Paris, and it was named after him, you know, in honour of him.
Yeah.
Anyway, for many years it was thought to be extinct, and if I told you where it was rediscovered, you'd probably never believe me, and that was Alcatraz Island. So this is probably the only thing that's ever escaped from Alcatraz bar Clint Eastwood. And you know what happened was that in the late 1930s, early 1940s, the warden of Alcatraz at the time allowed the well-behaved prisoners to tend his rose garden.
Right.
Well, the prison shut down 62, 63, something like that. And there was a recce done on there in the early 1980s, and this rose, which was identified as Bardou Job, was discovered growing under some blackberry briars. So this, obviously, I would imagine, is one of the cuttings that came, you know, that originated from there.
And as Elton John once said, I'm still standing.
Well, I don't know too much about that guy. But yeah, it's a fairly early flower. It makes a short climber as well, so it's a bit of training. Unfortunately, the first couple of 3 years that I had it, I got it pushed into a corner somewhere, and it never did particularly well. So it was brought out into the sun, potted up for a couple of years, and then planted here. And this is, I think, it's about its fourth season here. Like.
And what's this variety over here?
It's just a relatively common variety called Iceberg.
Oh, right, okay.
It's a variety dates from the late 1950s. It's a floribunda rose, so you can see that there's a lot of different flower heads on the same.
What did his
A floribunda, so
okay.
Flowers in abundance, basically.
Oh, right, okay.
And you can see there's a lot of heads on the same stalk, and these are both floribundas here as well. But you know, the Iceberg rose, it's been around for the best part of 70 years, stood the test of time, perfectly healthy. Pure white rose, you can't go wrong with it.
No.
This one's called Blue for You. There again, you can see it's a floribunda. Just look at the amount of flowers that's on the end of that. And what I've done with this, if you want to just take a few shots a bit lower down, Richard, they were pruned. This was pruned at different heights.
Right.
So if you was to prune them all at the same level, you'd have all your flowers at the top.
Yeah.
Whereas on this one, with them being pruned at different, like layered pruning, then you've got your blooms coming right from the bottom up to the top of the actual rose bush.
Oh, interesting.
And then this other one, this is called You're Beautiful.
Called?
You're Beautiful.
Thank you. I didn't know you cared, Andy.
No, I do, but there you go, but not in that sort of way.
Have these got on there?
Not so much.
Not so much.
No, that's got a medium sort of strength. That's not too bad.
Yeah, well, that's nice. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so I've always been happy with these. I'm not really a big fan of your modern roses like what these are, but they're just so stunning that you know you've got to have them in your garden.
And I'm guessing this is the rhubarb rose.
This is a rhubarb patch, yeah. Not done quite so well this year. Probably my own fault to a certain extent. It's not been cultivated as well as it ought to have been, but you know, I've got other things pressing. It's probably been neglected, but usually it'll provide me with just over £100 of.
Ain't rhubarb expensive now?
Oh Christ Almighty, yes.
Yeah. I mean, it used to be regarded as a weed. It was cheap, wasn't it?
Well, a lot of people
mistake
it. It's not a fruit; it's actually a vegetable.
Oh right, okay.
So, you wouldn't really eat it as a vegetable.
No.
It's used in fruit pies, that sort
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
But I never usually have any trouble shifting rhubarb. You know.
No.
A lot of friends take it off me. These are like your triple cordon apple trees. So I've got 3 different varieties on the 6 trees.
I'm going to come round here. Yeah. Carry on.
I've got 3 different varieties
sun.
on the 6. That's 6 trees that's here. So the 2 at the end are both the same.
Right.
They're actually grown as espaliers, which are actually horizontal along the wires.
As a what?
As an espalier.
Okay.
And they're grown horizontally, and the ones at the end are a variety called Adam's Pearmain.
Right.
Then the next 2 in are Bloody Ploughman. Now there's a story behind that, in the fact that many years ago, I think it was on the McGinch estate in Scotland, that the gamekeeper discovered this ploughman who'd stolen some apples. So for whatever reason, the gamekeeper shot the guy dead, and the ploughman's wife, she took the apples, threw them on a muck heap, and these are supposed to be the result of the pips germinated. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but it makes for a nice story. But the thing is, they're a completely red apple, and sometimes the red will actually stain the flesh inside.
Are these eating apples?
These are eating apples.
Yeah,
yes.
right.
So
okay.
The ones at the end, the Adam's Pearmain, they're one of the best eaters.
Right.
These, the next 2 Bloody Ploughman, there are better eaters about, but they're relatively early, relatively well cropping each year apple. And then the 2 in this side are a variety called Golden Harvey.
Right.
And it's the apple that's got the highest known specific gravity of its juice of any variety there is. So it does make very strong cider. But the apples are only really quite small. So they're basically a juicing apple, but they've got an absolutely gorgeous flavour to eat.
Yeah.
So they're a dual purpose, either a cider or a small dessert apple.
Yeah, I'm not a big apple eater. I do like apple in pies, but I don't eat sort of apple on the road. The only apple I eat sort of raw, I do like a Cox's. Is there an orange pippin, or is that the same thing?
Cox's orange pippin.
Yeah. That sort of flavour, that underpinning flavour, is similar to what you get in a pint of Woodford's Wherry.
Yeah, a Cox's orange pippin. It's probably, it's undoubtedly the most well-known commercial variety grown in Britain. But you see, a lot of your commercial growers, they have to spray the crop regularly, because the variety itself is susceptible to 2 diseases, and it's not really suitable for garden cultivation because the general public haven't got access to the chemicals which are needed to keep these the 2 diseases.
So you probably wouldn't get an organic.
It'd be rare. It'd be difficult. I'm not saying you can't grow them on a garden, but it's difficult. There are other varieties similar to the Cox which are much easier to grow like. This tree here, it's a variety called Ross Nonpareil. Last year it put a very large crop up, and this year there's hardly anything on it at all. But you cannot expect certainly under gardening conditions for a tree to be able to produce heavy crops year after year, and there are a lot of varieties that are biennial anyway.
Do they fruit every year, or is it every other year, or does it depend on the variety?
It does depend on the variety. I mean, a friend of mine at the top of the hill here, he's got a variety called Blenheim Orange, and one year it'll put a heavy crop up, the next year it's looking to get half a dozen apples off it.
Right.
And that's off a full size tree.
Yeah.
I think there might be just the odd one. You can see a couple around here, Richard. But that's basically about it.
Oh yeah.
And then I've got this one here. This cropped fairly well last year, and it's not done too bad. That's a variety called Holstein.
Right.
And one of the parents of that is the Cox.
Okay.
It produces a larger apple than the Cox, and it's very, very suitable for juicing as well. Like.
Yeah.
But it's got that Cox sort of flavour, flavour to it. Yeah.
Quite a few.
Yeah, looking forward to them this year. The Adam's Pearmain on this espalier here. There's a fair few on this year, if you look round, and you can see that they've got quite an odd sort of shape to them. They've got like a pear sort of shape.
Oh yeah.
Very elongated.
Yeah.
Flavour wise, not too dissimilar to a russet, even though there's no russeting actually on the skin, because the russet.
I like russets as well.
Well, the actual name russet, it doesn't apply to the type of apple. It's the actual russeting that's on the skin.
Okay.
So the ones that you would buy in the shops are Egremont russets, whereas I mean the other side of the road, I've got the rosemary russet, I've got the Brownlee's russet. There's another russet tree up there which is called the St. Edmund's pippin, and that they're all the same. They're all the same type of apple. But I find that I found out over the years that most russets are suitable for growing in this area. They crop fairly well most years, but the best thing about them is that most of them are self-fertile, and they're all perfectly healthy trees. They not really susceptible to any of the major diseases.
Of course, they're fairly manageable when you're trying to harvest them, aren't they?
Yeah,
you
well,
wait for them to fall off.
These will be not ready till the end of September, the beginning of October, so round about the end of August, when all this wood's solidified, then there'll be summer prunes, so it just allows a little bit of sun to get onto the actual fruit to ripen it up.
Yeah.
If it's been an exceptionally heavy year, then probably I shall have to go around and pick a few of the apples off in the sort of stage that they are now, so that the remaining fruit, it reaches a decent size, because obviously if you've got 4 or 5 apples there on the end of one bud, then they ain't going to grow all that big.
So it's a bit like cucumbers.
Yes, yeah.
If you leave them on there too long, once they've sort of ripened,
that's right, yeah,
it could literally be detrimental to the whole plant.
Precisely, yeah, precisely. But I'm well pleased with these, and these actually they only cost me, I think, £7.50 per tree.
Blimey.
For the two at the ends anyway. These were bought in as bare roots, and the stem was about that height, so it was pruned down to here, and then what you do, you just cut it straight off, and then any new shoots that it puts up, you allow one to grow as a central leader, and then bend the 2 nearest ones down horizontally along the first wire. You repeat at the 2nd wire, the 3rd wire, the 4th wire, the 5th wire. If you want to go any higher, then do so. You get to the top, and then you just bend everything over, and then that stops the central leader growing any further. And it's an easier way to put. It takes less area per tree, and I just like the way that these are grown. If given the chance to start again, I probably wouldn't grow them like this, but they're suitable for smaller gardens, whereas your freestanding trees, then they're more suitable to larger, more open orchards.
Well, it is more sort of vertical growing in a close sort of
you'll see
area.
You'll see up at the cider orchard in a few minutes, because all the trees up there are freestanding. Unfortunately, this year up at the cider orchard, virtually none of them have blossomed, so there's no fruit on them at all. Last 2 years there was, really, really good crops off them, but there again, I'll tell you more about that when we get up there.
Tell you what, Andy, it's warm, innit? I could do with a drink.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I'll have one first, Richard. This'll just prove
a drink, that is.
This'll just prove it won't poison you.
All right.
There you go, mate. And I guarantee that tastes better than anything that comes out of the tap.
Oh yeah. Not quite beer, but you know what it'll do. Yeah. Turn it off. What an interesting chap Andy was. As always, please do like, share and subscribe, and I will speak to you very, very soon.